A beautiful good morning to you. I've had to finish filming what was actually quite a nice little video and go back into my camera and delete a lot of images because I only have a very short, or should I say small, limited memory card on this phone. So here we go again. Oh yes, Jack's scratchings here. So this is Sunday morning. It's absolutely gorgeous, beautiful morning. I'm sat out here with my coffee and I've done my little morning meditation, which I want to share with you because I'm going to just share how I do my meditation. I've got my little chimes here, okay? The power of sound. And that sound goes on and on and on. I don't think that sound actually stops. It becomes infinite. So it's going right out into all that space that we live in. And as the sound is fading, all the time the sound is there, and as it's fading, I have an image in my head of what it is I'm meditating on. It's normally a person or a situation or something outside of me and outside of what happens here at Bealtaine Cottage. Quite often it's someone who has a problem or an issue, a health issue. Quite often it's someone who has no idea that I'm doing a meditation for them. It can sometimes be just from a comment that I've read on one of my videos or on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter. Sometimes it's for someone or a situation that's in the public eye. But the sound helps me to focus for that minute or minute and a half as it begins to dissipate. It helps me to focus just on that one image and to try to turn that image into a positive setting. Little bird over there just drinking out of it's flown off now. Drinking out of the little copper dish with the rainwater in. So, also want to share with you a book I'm reading at the moment. It's by P.D. James, The Lighthouse. Fabulous, fabulous story. Now, I'm only about a quarter of the way through. I'm completely enthralled. I've been hooked into it, and says a lot actually about the book, because I can lose interest in a story pretty quickly if I begin to use my powers of prediction, which I'm pretty good at doing, because prediction is all about analysing what's happening in the here and now and using accumulated knowledge to disseminate it and put it into a picture and see how that picture grows. I do that a lot. So it takes a really good crime writer to leave me wondering at the end of a chapter what is going to happen next. So, P.D. James, one of my favourite crime writers, and I don't think I've read this before. Do you know, again, I have a habit of once I've read a book, I'll put it to one side with the intention of reading it again at some point, and so I almost make myself forget the story. Yes, I know, the human mind is incredibly mixed up. But no, I don't think I've read this one before at all. It's just that when she writes about Adam Dalgliesh, it's, he's already there in my memory banks from previous stories. So, really want to talk a little bit this morning on what I think would be a fairly short video, because I see the batteries beginning to look a little bit half used. On empowerment, and empowerment in the face of all the issues out there in the world which are affecting people. And some people are more affected than others. And the issues are everything from what to do in the face of climate change, or extreme weather, or the impending economic collapse that we thought we'd got over in 2008, but a lot of people are saying there's another one on the way. And just day-to-day life, because we live with issues. That's the whole nature of life, especially life in community or life in so-called civilization. There's always issues to be dealt with. So this is really about self-empowerment and how to get along and live one's life in a comfortable and even beautiful way, and an abundant way, despite the messages that we're getting from society about if you don't have X, Y or Z, you are poor. So there are certain things which have happened here over the past 15 years that I've had to deal with. So about 5 or 6 years ago, the government decided it was going to bring in a septic tank inspection. This is just another way to raise money, because lots of us who live in these old cottages have rather old septic tanks, but they work fine. There's no, the people long ago knew how to construct things that were going to last. That's for sure. And they work well. They don't need chemicals or anything like that. But the charge for this septic tank inspection was going to be €150. Now, this was 5 or 6 years ago, when €150 was a king's ransom to me. And there was just, it scared the bedevil out of me, because I thought 150, I'm not, where am I going to get that from? And they'd already introduced a kind of a housing tax, that you pay annually. And, all these things that were brought in to sort of pay for the big bank collapse, which I wasn't involved in. And they were all gamblers anyway. And all we did was just pay them off and feed their habit. But anyway. So at that point, I've been thinking for some time about constructing a compost toilet. And I thought, what's the definition of a septic tank? Of course, the definition of a septic tank is that it's septic. And what makes it a septic tank? Human waste flowing into it. So I got my toilet disconnected, just taken out. It was a flush toilet anyway, and it really made no sense to me that I would be flushing spring water or any kind of water into it to flush my poo away into a tank where it was just going to sit there and kind of biodegrade down, and the kind of seepage of it into the soil was fine, because that's where I kind of planted my orchard. So, you know, there was benefits arising there. But so I had the toilet disconnected and felt very empowered by that, because I thought, well, okay, so any inspector who comes to my house now with his clipboard, with his hand out looking for €150, I'm going to say to him, well, I don't have a septic tank. It's a grey water tank. And I shall lead him into my little, I would say bathroom, but I had the bath taken out as well. You see, I only have a little shower in there. I'll lead him into my little shower room and say, right, would you like to use my compost toilet? Would you like to add to the general vigour of Bealtaine Cottage? So that was I'm going to get up now, walk about a bit. That was something that really made me feel very empowered, because I thought, right, I can take these situations and make them my own them, so to speak. So that's my mindset. I've had that mindset really all my life, that if I can do without something in order to keep bureaucrats at bay, then that affords me more than what money can buy anyway, because it affords me personal freedom. And you see, that's wealth. Freedom is wealth. So, for that reason, I try to be as self-sufficient as possible. And, of course, you know, the usual thing, people say, oh, do you grow all your own food then? Because that's what people think self-sufficiency is. Self-sufficiency is not growing all your own food. That's only one small aspect of it. I can now afford to support my local organic garden, which is a community garden which sells produce. So I can afford to support that. Now, what I do then for living sustainably and regeneratively, which is more important, as you can see, look, all my washing's on the line drying. My cup of coffee is there because I lit the Kelly stove this morning. Okay? Which to me means I can actually live without electricity if I have to. It won't be a hardship if ever I have to do that. And if you don't have a Kelly stove, a little rocket stove. These work beautifully. Now, not only did I boil the Kelly stove to make my coffee, I boiled it again and filled up my flask. And there's my flask. And it's filled up with boiling water. And I can make tea for most of the day without having to boil anything, without having to use electricity. So, on top of that, of course, you know that I buy most of my clothes and attire from charity shops. And it doesn't matter how much money I'd have. If I became a millionairess overnight, I would still support charity shops. And for a purely selfish reason, if you like, in that you can get some beautifully tailored vintage clothes in charity shops, and you can form your own fashion style. You don't have to follow trends which may or may not suit you. You can determine your own fashion style, and mine is pretty eclectic. And you can have a great deal of fun. And also, when you go into a charity shop to buy something, you usually end up having a fantastic conversation with the people in there who are working, because invariably they are volunteers and they have a great deal of enthusiasm for the work that they do. So it's a completely win-win situation. Again, I was almost sort of, I won't say bullied into, but certainly there was a lot of very coercive talk in my direction to sign up for the water scheme here. And of course I was told that if you signed up for the water scheme, it would only be so much per year. It was going to be €1,300 to join. Well, I mean, that just put me out of the picture completely. But I was told, you can have as much water as you like and the pressure will be great, and you can kind of run the water 24/7, that's great. And I thought, no, because once you buy into something like that, then you've lost a little bit more of your freedom, you see. I said, no, I'll stick with my spring well. And I don't mind if it kind of runs so low during the summer months that I don't have a lot of water. I'm quite happy to, have a body wash, for goodness sake. I mean, we've only lived with this running water malarkey for the past 100 years or so. Before that, usually everybody went to the well or the local stream or the river or whatever. It's Western civilization has pushed so many mindsets on us that have disabled us. We've become disabled by buying into a system that is controlled, and we've lost control. Now look at the lovely pieces of wood just in my window there. I just picked those up on a walk the other day. Bits of dried wood. My bedroom window still open. So, how we live is really a mindset, and I've said this before to the occasional person who says that they would love to have a Bealtaine Cottage, they would love to live like this. Bealtaine Cottage may be a physical place, of course it is, because this is where I live, but it's a mindset. It's a mindset, it's a way of looking at the world. And actually, I'm going to leave you with an image, which I think is very empowering. Very occasionally I'll show this image. I mean, this image is up on the website, by the way. If you click on the menu at the very top of the page, it will take you into the before pictures of Bealtaine Cottage. So I'm just going to get, oh, by the way, that big pole is in there in case any little bee or anything goes into the water, then they can climb out. Just in case any of you are thinking that I've just shoved a pole into the water barrel for no good reason. Okay. Right, let's see now. Where are these? Oh, right. There we go. So, okay. So, go around the front or just go around here a bit. See this path here? It's this path. So I'm going to go down this path to where this photograph was taken. It's all very different now. And then look back at the cottage. So it was down about here actually, because you can see the front of the cottage. I'm moving backwards now. Hope I don't fall over. Okay. It's about there, look. I already started planting, as you can see, and doing paths. So that was a few months after I'd moved in. So I'll just walk on round this way. So the transformation was little to do with money or wealth or anything like that. It was to do just with planting. So I'm going to show you another photograph now. Pop that one down there on the chair. Okay. There we go. So I'm just going to stand at the same spot where this was taken, which was here. There's the driveway. That to me, you see, is poverty. There, that's poverty. That's wealth. Now my battery's going to go soon. So if it does just cut off, you know what's happened. And then the last photograph. Oh, by the way, this is This is a photograph after the pond was put in. You can see all the marshy ground was very, very wet. It's all different now. The last one is this one, which is a fairly iconic one. And this was taken at the very bottom of the driveway. So I'm hoping that the battery will last. Let's go for it anyway. So of course, you can see all the... Oh, by the way, this was actually, believe it or not, and this is a fact, this was taken in late April, early May. Because I was only here for a week, and that was the property. It was the final property I viewed, and I said, oh, I'm just going to take that. Something about it felt right. Because I know when I presented this photograph and then looked, kind of photographed Bealtaine at the same time of year, people said, oh no, that can't be, because look, it's all bare there. If you're just going to have, in fact it's not bare because you can see the growth on there, but what it is monoculture. If you have monoculture, there appears to be little or no life, you see. So, try to keep the camera as still as I can. There's the pond. I'm going I'm what my grandmother used to say, I'm scooting along. Probably where the word scooter came from. So, I'm kind of hurrying. Right, so here we are. We're coming down to the end of the driveway. Because you can just see there the car. You see the little bit of the car there at the bottom of the picture? So the car was parked here. I got out of the car and looked up. Oh, look up now. You see? That is poverty. That's wealth. So not only is it a state of mind, because you see you can change the view that you have of your world. By thinking in terms of abundance. And what has happened here is abundance. See? Now, another little bit of proof it was taken the same time of year. See that ash tree there? It'll come into view in a minute. I'm rushing along because the battery is going to go very shortly. Right. There we go. Can you see the ash tree? Still hasn't come into leaf. The same as there. Right? Can you see the ash tree? Look, let me see. There. In fact, these ash trees haven't come into leaf either. That's monoculture poverty. This is Mother Earth's abundance.